Now, for the first time in what seems like an eternity, I can sit here on a Sunday night with a smile on my face, as West Ham United have won a football match, believe it or not. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are a World Premier League Roundup show back for another week. Sean, we've only got 2 more weeks left. The crowds will commiserate in their desolation without us. But how are you, mate?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, another weekend. Sun's been shining nice. You can't grumble that.
Absolutely. Now we are going to discard yesterday's football results. As Gary Lineker articulated on Match of the Day, it probably was one of the worst Saturdays in his 26-year career of doing Match of the Day. So I'm going to echo his sentiment and move on to some of the action from today. We're going to start for the Sunday 12 o'clock kickoff on TNT, which threw me off a little bit, as Newcastle beat Chelsea by 2-0, and Newcastle look like they're firmly in position for some form of a European spot, Sean.
Yeah, the only things I really know about this game is the red card, which I think was upgraded from a yellow. I think that was the correct decision. I think the player knew exactly what he was doing in my mind. It was Nicholas Jackson one. I've seen a stat actually that he's had more cards in 2025 than goal involvements. So he's probably gone back to what we thought he was when they signed him a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't got a lot to say on this game really. I'm gonna mention something about Chelsea in the Conference League though. And we've mentioned the Conference League for a few years. When my team was in it, when your team was in it, my thoughts on it. So I just want to go back to that a little bit with Chelsea, because obviously I don't expect you've been taking a lot of notice of what they've been doing in that competition at all. No. I think the way they've changed the European competitions, it's probably died more a little bit. So by the time you get down the Conference League, there's only 30,000 at Stamford Bridge on Thursday for a semi-final. And I don't know if you've seen, a lot of the away fans filled a lot of them stands by just forcing their way in.
There was droves of them in the home end. When they panned round on the video, there were sections of them. It was incredible, wasn't
it? So take your West Ham half of you won it and it was great. This is just an example of what I was saying about they're going to have to rework. I think the European competitions have changed a lot, and this is going to probably suffer. I didn't expect it to be around long, this competition, to be honest. I can't pronounce who they beat in the semis, like
Desjardins or something like that.
Yeah, so teams like that, they have got a tough. I'm not sure they're going to win it though. Betis aren't. No mugs in the final, but it just looks very poor. Big clubs like Chelsea being in it, really, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. Look, my viewpoint on this is it's got easier in the Conference League. I'm not just saying this will be won it a couple of years ago, but there's no teams now dropping down from the Europa League into the Conference League. They've eradicated that to start with. I think from an English fan point of view and perspective, I think it's more beneficial for everybody if somebody like what's going to happen this season, like a Bournemouth or a Brentford or a Fulham win it. If a Chelsea go into it, I get it, right? It seems a lot worse. You put Bournemouth into it next season, they get a bit of a run going. All of a sudden, then they're sort of ignited by it. I think it's more beneficial for a team like who's going to be in it this year to be in it than the team that's going to be in it for last year, like Chelsea, who have completely taken it for granted. They're not going to win it unbeaten because they lost a game, so we've still got that accolade. But it's probably not as appreciated as much for a team like Chelsea to go in it. I don't know who will get the 8th or 7th spot this season, but I think it will be probably better sort of covered next season.
I'm not sure this is fact, but I did read, and I can't remember the circumstance, with all these different ways people could get into Europe, and there's loads of different things that could happen yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure I read something can happen where we don't even have anyone go in the Conference League.
Really?
And I can't remember what it is, but I definitely read it. So I don't know if one of your thousands of listeners that are listening to this right now can do a bit of homework. I'm sure I read it. If that's true, that makes another mockery of it. But my point is always, I know we've gone off track a bit, which is probably good because all these games are pretty rubbish this weekend. But I think I'll probably mention these European competitions a little bit going through the show. I've always thought, and this is before they rejigged it with the dropping down of teams from the better competition, I don't think it's for teams in the top 5 divisions at all. I think it'd be better, take out your Swedish teams, your Norwegian teams, a bit like that. I think keep it at that level. I just think, I'm not even sure Chelsea will sell their full allocation for the final. Do you know what I mean? It's maybe wrong to look down on it, but I think UEFA have just, by trying too hard, have probably just messed it up a little bit.
Yeah, and of course, from the viewpoint, the coverage of it hasn't been helped with it being Chelsea this year. Yeah, it's been looked down upon and all the rest of it. And it is more designed, I think, for a team out of the top six. And I think that was probably what it was designed for. It's a team out of the top six in the big divisions to get their shot at Europe. And we're the sort of prime example of that a couple of years ago. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, Villa, of course, prioritised last season getting the Champions League over it and therefore didn't win it, where they probably could have won it if they'd have engaged in it a little bit more, and now they'd have a trophy and not one, but that's up to them. And a team like Bournemouth, Brentford, whoever get in it next season, be interesting to see how they get on and whether overall as a league our perspective changes on it again, because this season nobody really took any notice of it. But if Bournemouth get to a semi-final of a European competition, then it might get put into the spotlight a bit more. I don't know. We'll see. But I do get your point. I do. But there we are. Right. Let's take some comments. Larry, thanks for joining us. Hope you are well. Unusual feeling winning a game. We're going to come on to that next. I forgot what winning felt like. When was the last time we actually won a game? It must be quite a long time ago. I think I read February, which that can't be right, surely. I'm now going to have a little look. We didn't win there. Yeah, it was the end of February at home to Leicester. That was a brilliant game as well. So yeah, first win since the end of February. Thank you very much, Manchester United. Bowen and Souček being our saviours yet again. Absolutely. Fathead, thanks for joining us. So let's move on to that, shall we? Manchester United 0, West Ham 2. I didn't watch the game, of course, because I wasn't there. I have a curse with Old Trafford. I've been 3 years running, Sean. Not seen us win. I don't go this year, and we win, so I'm banned from that really, really bad place, to be totally honest. And seems like we put in a decent performance. It was which worst team was better, to be totally honest. Some of the defending I've seen from a couple of the goals from Man United, it's beggars belief, really, especially the second one. It's good awareness for Kudus and Wan-Bissaka to nick the ball off Ugarte, who went down without a touch barely, and then ball watching Manchester United defenders as Bowen comes to the back post and puts it into the back of the net. Souček with a touch to get the first goal, and that sums it up really. Bowen and Souček, the two players that are probably going to keep us in this division this season, scoring, combining to get us to 3 points. I think that takes Souček's tally up to 9 and Bowen's tally up to 11. You take those two out, 20 goals. I think that's over half of our goal tally for the entire season from those two players. They have been our goal scorers, and they turned up yet again today. Whenever you see West Ham score, I go, who else? Which one is it? Souček or Bowen? And that was summed up again today. Listen, he's carrying on with this sort of back three thing, and he's chucking Creswell back in today when he's announced he's leaving. Seems like he had a pretty good performance. Soufal as well. I think he constructed the world's slowest midfield, and I think he's done that for about 8 weeks running. Rodriguez, who I'm quicker than him. Souček, which you're quicker than him, Sean. And who's the other one? Souček, Rodriguez. I'm missing one player. Somebody help me out.
Ward-Prowse, is it?
Ward-Prowse, there we go. Yeah, which we're both quicker than him as well. So how on earth we've won at Old Trafford with those three in midfield, I will never know. And it probably sums up Manchester United, and it says more about them than it does us. Obviously, attention's for them firmly on the Europa League final in a couple of weeks' time. But Sean, were you surprised?
No. I told you last week before the game, when we played each other, I thought you'd get points off of us and United. So I even predicted you'd beat us last week because I just know what Tottenham and Man United are playing like. Yeah. You go there and win. It's obviously nice to win a football match, but I don't know about you. Maybe I'm just grumpier. In the league, I don't even jump off the sofa and celebrate a goal this season. Do you know what I mean? I just is not even bothered. Like in Europa League's been a bit different because it's knockout football, but in the league, when you're not chasing anything, it's good to watch and you know what I mean, have a chat about, but you don't really celebrate it. And it's good to win at Old Trafford, but I don't know what West Ham take away from it, to be quite honest, because on paper, I know your fans weren't happy with the lineup at the start. With United, a bit like Tottenham, you're getting a well-rotated side. The priority is not getting injured, even though I think Yoro got injured and he had to come off. Mm. It's not just that. I think a lot of players in Tottenham and United side, it's not 100 miles an hour. There's not the same tactics. It's not the same commitment. So it's strange. Like, I think Villa have got to play both with Tottenham and United in their last two to secure a Champions League spot, probably, if they win both. So it's strange. It's been a very, very strange season for multiple reasons. And I don't think I've said before, I think too much football over the last 5 years hasn't helped. But in UEFA's attempt to stop this Super League a couple of years ago, I think they've tweaked these European competitions to the point where it has affected each country's league itself as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of rollover and spillover. Like the fact that I think that someone did a tweet, a Tottenham fan, and I can't remember what it coincided with. It's probably all the injuries. We made a real bad spell. It was the end of November, and they tweeted that the season's over in the league. Let's hope we can get to a final in the Europa, and that was end of November. So do you know what I mean? And so the nature of these competitions, I think, it has made some, probably not just only our league, just a bit of a mess. Do you know what I mean? If you're playing Tottenham, Man United now, you every club probably knows they're not going to be given 100%, whether they're at Old Trafford, at Tottenham Stadium, or wherever it is. And the fans might not like losing, but the home fans also know that's what's going to happen. So it's been a very strange league. It hasn't been the best of quality, but you got games like today, West Ham and Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? And it's a good win, but then you don't want to overanalyze it, but you kind of a little bit know why. And and that's what Europe has done to it. Like if you're in the Europa League now, you know it's Champions League spot, you know some of the biggest trophies, you know you get to the Super Cup. Whoever's in it, they're probably going to do the same every year now. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll have a team. Who's going it next year? Say Villa. You could have some big clubs in the Europa League next year. They could do exactly the same by Christmas if they're in mid-table, thinking, right, we can keep flogging our guts playing Thursday, Sunday, or we can start prioritising the Europa League. Then you could say it's a little bit unfair. Any team get playing these sides, and you know they're not going to give you an equal game.
No,
it has made it messy, and I'm not sure UEFA have got it right, and I do blame them. But they've had to do it because they've had to panic because they were going to lose it all. Let's be honest, they would have lost it all.
Yeah.
These clubs are more powerful than UEFA. They could have, if they really want to break away, they can. And they've tweaked these competitions, and I think it's just going to mess up the leagues a little bit. And I don't think it's going to go away.
Yeah, and I think Messi's the word to describe it. I mean, not the player. I mean the noun of it. It's just been really bizarre. And you get a situation today where if we'd have spoke in August, Sean, and I'd have told you on the 11th of May that West Ham would have beaten Man United to go above them and Tottenham to reach 40 points, you'd look at me and went, what on earth are you taking? And that epitomises everything this season has become. And we've reached 40 points and Tottenham and Man United have yet to reach it. And you could argue that both teams probably won't reach it or may not reach it with the two, because both sides have got two pretty tough games in the Premier League to come. Both sides have got Villa. I don't know if is it you or United have got Brighton. Sean, a team with something to play for, and
we got Palace on. We got Palace on Friday. Friday before the final.
I thought you just played Palace, didn't you?
Oh no, Villa. Sorry, Villa. The Villa game got moved, didn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Villa game.
That was it. Yeah.
I'm not sure where we got last game.
But yeah, I think it's two pretty tough games to end. So there's a scenario where both teams lose both games, which isn't wildly out of the realms of possibility, with both teams prioritising the Europa League. And you've got Tottenham and Man United who finished 16th and 17th, below 40 points. I mean,
what hasn't helped as well, I obviously sort of blame the structure of the European competitions. What's played into their hands is the fact that the promoter sides have been so bad the last 2 years as well. Like you said, but I'm not going to reach 40 points. Tottenham and Man United haven't really tried to reach 40 points. You know what I mean? They got to about 30 and thought, right, that's enough.
Yeah.
So, and we can win 5 more games and win the Europa League. So next year, I don't know if Leeds will be a little bit better than recent promoted sides or not, but I don't know. I'd like to think this is a one-off crazy season in a lot of ways.
Let's hope so. Usual suspect. Potter knew what he was doing. It's just none of us knew what he was doing. Very true. Very true. 3 points and a good performance. There we are. Michael, hope you're well. Anyone else? I've missed Happy Days. Here again, we've won a game finally. Yeah, absolutely. That is for sure. Next up, we will go. We can carry on this conversation if you like, because we go to Spurs 0, Crystal Palace 2, and as a brace, Palace take all 3 points again expected. Sean. So let's not really talk about this. Let's talk about Thursday. Got over the line without too much hassle.
I was very impressed with us Thursday. It was more than getting over the line. I thought we were very good. Again, I know they're not like a a fancy football name, are they, Bodo Glimt? But they had a very, very good home record. I think they were one of the highest scorers at home in the Europa League this season. They didn't really threaten us. Our back four looked very, very good. Our first choice back four, totally different than it was today. Looked very strong. And we got a couple of nice goals as well. So we made it a lot easier than what we thought we would. I think we always expect like a bit of a blip or a little bit of a something to go wrong, which makes it a bit of a mad last 10 minutes or something. But 0-0 at half time, they didn't really threaten. You took it and got the job done quite easily in the end.
Yes, you've got 10 days until that Europa League final. There's 2 Premier League games to come before that. Are you expecting wholesale changes in both of them, anticipating 10 days' time?
Well, Villa definitely, because I don't know why. I don't know if they do it every year, but the final's in between the last 2 games of the season.
It's on a Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't. Well, it's not after the season. It's a bit strange for me, but
yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it?
But yeah, the Villa game away, that'll be similar side to today. We're starting to get a couple of injuries again, and Kulusevski went off for a knock, and he's been a quite rusty sort of one that come back from injury and needed the game time. So that's not ideal. We're already missing Maddison and Bergvall. They've probably been 2 of our better players, especially in Europe. So that's not ideal. I think United have probably got a slightly deeper squad, especially with experience. So that's a little bit of a worry. But yeah, it'd be a similar team against Villa. You won't be seeing the likes of Van der Ven, Romero coming on the field. We're a little bit short on midfield, so they're sort of giving Bentancur and Basuma half each. Son come back today, but he was injured for about 3 weeks, but he hasn't had a great season anyway. And then you've got Solanke and Richarlison, but they'll rotate in and out. But it is all about the final. That's been all about the final probably since about Christmas. If truth be told, it just has. And Ange and even speak about it now. It's just about managing the time for that.
Yeah, and this was the 20th loss of the season. Could be 22 losses out of the 38 by the end of the season, and still no ever concern about being relegated.
No, it's never crossed anyone's mind really, has it? Because we more or less relegated the bottom 3 in about the 3rd week. So that was that, and that was them gone. But it'd probably make it a little bit more interesting if we've got some more competitive sides coming up, where clubs can't just like ditch off certain competitions. But yeah, it is all. The thing is, with Tottenham and Man United totally prioritising this, one team's going to have a shocking season because they can't both win it.
Exactly.
But I think the clubs are probably in slightly different places anyway. Because I think Amorim, he's only come in halfway through the season. I think Ange will be gone whether we win it or not. So it's going to be another new start next year for Tottenham, win or lose. So yeah, it is all about the final, and I thought about it quite a lot, trying to guess it or predict it, and I can't really guess it. I think it'd be quite a tight game.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's an unpredictable one, that is for sure. Right then, let's go to the televised game this afternoon. A Midlands derby. Nottingham Forest are waning. To be totally honest, they are just stumbling over the line. 2-2 draw at home to Leicester. They were leading this game through Chris Wood, and a Buonanotte goal leaves it level. I wanted them to get Champions League. I don't think they're going to get that now. They need to cling on to any Europe spot they can get now, Sean.
Yeah, that big owner of theirs on the pitch, wasn't he having a go at Nuno at the end?
Diabolical, isn't
it? Yeah, that's probably because his eyes lit up with the Champions League money. That's what that was. And now he's seen that slip. It's not very professional. You think he owns another club, a French club as well, is it?
He owns Olympiacos as well.
Oh, it's Olympiacos. Yeah, that's not good. It's not. We don't usually see that in English football, do we? That's usually sort of South American sort of nonsense. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think they'll probably end up getting Europa. Yeah. I'll be honest. We said we've covered Europe a little bit on here. I'm not sure probably all Europe. I'm not sure Europe would be great for Forest. Just the extra games. We said it about Villa, and obviously they've done well enough. But just someone like Forest, I think it'd take their toll on them a little bit. I'm not saying that it'd got them into a relegation zone, but you'll probably see them back in the bottom half, I would think, next season, personally. And they've obviously got three or four stars in their side. I mean, is it the centre back and the right back, and obviously Gibbs White? They're all good players. I quite like the keeper as well.
Remarkable, really. They were 17th last season, and they are now sat 7th, which is going to get them a Europa League spot, barring a miracle. Now they're about 7 points above Brentford, who are in the Conference League spot currently. And look, yeah, they have been in third for quite a while through this season, but it was never going to be straightforward sailing through the Champions League. They play with 30% possession and win on the counter-attack. I mean, is that really going to be sustainable next season? I don't know. They've prolonged it out and they are stumbling over the line now. Let's not sugarcoat it. They've struggled the last few weeks, but they are going to get that European football, and it's deserved as well. Will it be detrimental for them next season? Absolutely. Will they probably be where Spurs and Man United are next season in a similar position? Absolutely. Maybe not without a final to contend with. It will be hard for them, and they will have to massively bulk up the squad. Whether Nuno stays or whether he goes after that fast this afternoon, I don't know. Gary Neville went straight on Twitter and said he should just walk after that. And I mean, manager of Forest, you took him from the brink of relegation to pretty much guaranteed European football. Effective guaranteed European football. And you've got the owner waddling out onto the pitch, giving you loads of grief because he's not going to get his extra Champions League payday. I mean, blimey.
Yeah, he's a strange character, and because he's the one that bought about 300 players as well.
Yeah,
a couple of seasons ago. It's not good. I can also imagine him cashing in on one of their better players as well. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
if someone comes in for Gibbs White, I don't know what I don't know what the going rate is for him. I don't know if they get offered like 60 million, they might think about it probably. You can tell he's not a great owner for the game really, but yeah, Nuno's done well, but. I'm with you. I'm not sure that the style counter-attacking football, some very fast wingers and a good creative centre mid, is probably suited the Premier League this year. We haven't had that many top players, top sides. So if you break at pace and score goals, it's probably suited the nature of the league this year.
No, I agree 100%. A couple more comments. A win is welcome, of course, but Potter is a bore. A solid dishwater. The opposition was very, very poor today, but hey, this is West Ham. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty significant debrief in the summer to assess where we go going forward. But afternoons like this is always going to happen for West Ham. We'll always pop up one of these wins. We have done every season. Beat Arsenal earlier in the season. Beat Man United. I mean, they're not on the same calibre, but they're in the same bracket of team, aren't they? And that's what it is. Where is the final being played? I did see something about the venue being too small or something, or they want more tickets. Or
I haven't read of a rumor it being changed.
Right.
And I was racking my brain when I read something like that about they often try and get mention of places being changed to bring it closer to home. Yeah. Like two English sides have it at Wembley sort of thing. As far as I'm aware, because you hear this quite often. As far as I'm aware, they've never changed the venue ever after it being because they pre-decided. Like I think it might even be like 2 years in advance.
It is, yeah.
They do with the Champions League for definite, so you'll know now probably at least for the next two is. They won't change it. They've never changed it, as far as I know. It's almost like a reward for the club who host it.
Because it's in Bilbao, and that's what the chants are. It must be in Bilbao.
It's in Bilbao. I think Tottenham and Man United have got 15,000 each.
Shed loads going to corporate then.
Yeah, it holds about 60,000. But it won't be changed. And I think all the tickets, it's all sold out anyway and done. So
right, yeah, there we are. So that will be an interesting evening in 10 nights' time. Now let's go to Anfield, shall we? Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. We can talk a little bit about the game, but it's purely a second story to what's, as Carragher said, probably going to be on the back pages of the newspapers tomorrow. And what everybody is talking about is when Trent Alexander-Arnold got brought on, and they sort of built up the narrative a little bit before. They saw him warming up, and they kept panning to him as he was doing his warm up, and then when he was getting ready, they knew he was coming on at some point. I don't even think Gary Neville expected the reception that he did get, and neither did I. I chuckled as I saw it, and it wasn't even just the loud boo as he sort of gallivanted on. It's every time he got the ball, they were booing him, and then when he passed it, they booed him, and then he played the player onside for the goal. And wow, you'll never walk alone, Sean.
I'm not surprised for starters. I would have expected that. But I think Jamie Carragher sort of come out on his high horse last week and sort of said no one should tell Liverpool fans how they should feel, even though he tells everyone else how they should feel, Carragher. But then he went with the narrative, and I think deep down we know this, that they almost in Liverpool they just think they're different. They're different, like a siege mentality. Do you know what I mean? It's everyone hates us. It's us against the world.
Yeah.
Football literally is everything up there. Everything. When he said that, and like, I thought to myself, you're not just saying that that's wrong, though. Do you know what I mean? If you're built up that much in sense about your club, that this is the centre of the earth, there's nowhere better, blah blah blah. That just makes you very sort of selfish and blinkered a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And you'll only see things one way because that is your mentality. You're a Scouser. You're not English, so that is it. But that's what he basically admitted. What most of us already knew and thought anyway. Yeah. But to me, when he says that, I think, well, that just makes you look a bit like a load of idiots. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it is just a game, and they are human beings. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone wants to spend their whole career at Anfield, and that's that. Do you know what I mean? And the nature of the game today, players can run their contract down and leave on a free. You probably blame the club. Maybe 18 months ago, they should have looked at that a bit harder and got them tied down. So I don't blame the player at all. I think you'll never change how Liverpool fans think and act, but their view on it probably is a little bit over the top when it is actually only a game. Do you know what I mean? It is just a game. And believe it or not, the world aren't all against Liverpool. But booing him, I'm not surprised he did that at all. Excuse me. I'm not sure if... I don't know who came up with the idea for the timing of Trent's announcement. Was it last week when we did the video? But what hasn't helped is because it's been quite well broadcasted about their three players' contracts running down. So there's talk of Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent all going. Obviously, in the last month or so, those two have signed. So then it's going more and more obvious Trent wasn't. So I don't know whether if they go on to try and avoid this sort of reaction they're getting today, because it'll happen again. He's going to probably take his turn to lift the trophy soon. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to happen again. Whether if they cared much about the players, they could have delayed announcing all of it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? They didn't need to announce the two that are staying 6 weeks ago and then announce Trent leaving a week before the last three games of the season.
Adds fuel to the fire, doesn't it?
It's just, it just feels that they threw him under the bus a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there was talks between Trent's PR team and the club how and when to do it. But like I said, they could have delayed announcing the new contracts a little bit. Yeah. That might have helped. If there's three of them,
it don't look so obvious then, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't look so obvious, and I just think the timing wasn't great all round because he's got to go into the lion's den almost now, and he sort of listen to all that nonsense. But at the end of the day, he's joined the biggest club in the world, and that whether Real Madrid are the best team in the world at any time or not, they are still the biggest club in the world. They're still.
Do you know what? Sorry, I find it remarkable the reception that he's received, and I've seen and Carragher with that statement last week saying, you can't tell us how we should feel, all the rest of it, effectively. And my mind goes back to when Declan Rice left West Ham, and we all had a bit of a moan, and the whole football world descended on us. So you're awful, or you should do this, and blah blah blah. There's not too many similarities to that here. I mean, Declan Rice won a trophy at West Ham and went to a London rival. Trent Alexander-Arnold has devoted his whole life to Liverpool. He's won every trophy there is to win, and he's now deciding to move on and maybe the peak of his career to the biggest football club in the world, to a new country, to probably play with one of his best mates, Jude Bellingham, I'd expect, to play under and in, one of the biggest football climates in the world, and is going for a change more than anything to try and pursue a different challenge. And the reception that he got today, I mean, you're absolutely right, Sean. It's as if they think they're the only club in the world and, nothing's better than them. I mean, they've won the league this year, yes, but they've won the worst league that I think I've ever seen. And listen, you can't take it away from them. They've been the best side in the league. Absolutely. He's now won the league again with Liverpool. Add that to every other trophy he's won. Is a man not allowed to go somewhere else? Should he just be imprinted on Liverpool for the rest of his life? Come on.
I totally agree with what you're saying. I think one of their biggest issues is he's going for free. Yeah. And that's the biggest difference between that and Declan Rice. But then
that's down to them for not agreeing a contract, not him. That's not his fault, is it?
It's down to the club to get the timings right of having chats for new contracts. Do you know what I mean? it's not often you see a player's contract, especially a top one at a peak age, run down to the last year, let alone 18 months. You know what I mean? You'd have think they'd have negotiated it. From what I've read, he's only going to be earning 180 grand at Real Madrid.
I don't know what he's on at Liverpool, is it?
Well, I would be amazed if they weren't offering him more money. So he's not going there for the money. He's going there because it's Real Madrid. And his mate Bellingham's there at the moment. He's been shocking this year, by the way.
Yeah.
So, it's weird.
Another interesting factor to add to an interesting season. There we are. But that is our Premier League Run Show for another week done. We have 2 weeks left. A Europa League final, which will no doubt be we will be returning to. I'm going to find a Manchester United shirt from somewhere, Sean, dust it off and prepare myself for that. But no. Who've we got next week? Forest at home next week. And then we will be at Ipswich for a final day party.
You could get another result next week then as well, because Forest, that fat bloke could be on the pitch again.
If you run it on, I want my money. Nuno, you're sacked. Oh dear, just sums it up, doesn't it? But yeah, there we are. Forest next week, final home game. Then Ipswich. We are making a weekend of it up near Portman Road, so we feel like we've got to go because they certainly won't be coming back, Ipswich, to the Premier League anytime soon. But there we are. Sean, any final words before we go?
Final words. Not really, mate. I'm all out.
So am I. From me, Comey Wines, and we will see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. 2 weeks to go. God for that. Bye-bye.
Okay, mate. Cheers.